So, morning guys, how you doing? Welcome to the channel. More lure talk today, as usual. Do I ever talk about anything else? Do I ever think about anything else? Uh, we made huge progress yesterday anyway, just in terms of learning how to resize images and all the rest of it. I've totally developed a new skill. I can build websites now with WordPress and Elementor, which is kind of really cool. Um, But all of that aside, I wanted to talk a bit about what's going to be on offer, what's coming, um, what I'm bringing to the table, right? And why I'm doing it, right? 'Cause that's not that it matters to anybody, but I'm doing it because I want to do it, right? Because yeah, I've got a PhD, and yeah, I was a university lecturer, but I also spent 2 years of my life on the flat of my back, unable to move basically. I couldn't cook a dinner. I could barely make it up and down the stairs. I found it hard to hold a conversation. Most mornings I woke up and I thought, oh, fuck, another day. Like, long COVID is just an absolute hidden pandemic. And they don't want to talk about it because if people knew the truth, they would be terrified of what would happen to them. So, you know, look after yourselves. That's all I have to say, because you do not want what I have. And I'm amazed by how many fishermen I know. I'm not going to list them because I respect people's privacy, who contacted me and said, Jesus Christ, I have a bit of that. How are you coping? What do you do? Or whatever, you know. I would have to say, I think I'm now 3 weeks into hyperbaric oxygen, and you can see the difference, right? You can see the enthusiasm and the energy and everything. It's 6:30 in the morning and I'm ready for business. So, but the website, right? So the name at the minute is Lure Addicts, right? Is the name I've come up with. I've done that on purpose because I want to leave room to branch out a little bit. I don't just lure fish for bass. I do quite a bit of freshwater lure fishing. I fish for trout, I fish for sea trout. I do a lot of pike fishing with lures. Uh, so I'd like to branch out a little bit and put some of those lures in there too. I am primarily going to focus on lures. As things go and we get the thing moving, I'll start to bring in some clothing, some like the ultimate hoodies and stuff are dead cool. The t-shirts are cool. The jackets and wet gear, just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Now, not cheap. I'm afraid that's just the reality of it. There, it's Gore-Tex, it's made by Grundens, it's top of the range, right? But then again, Sims is not cheap, right? So it's a big investment, right? I'm also going to see if I can get my hands on a couple of the Ultimate Fishing Engineering rods, the rods they make themselves, just to see what they're like, to see if they're worth stocking. And I'm going to have a chat. Myself and Michael Roach in Waterford have been talking about building a rod together. So we might build a custom rod, but those are things that are coming down the line. Other exciting news is myself and Charles Nelson, my great friend Charles from Seawolf Lures, who has helped me to catch so many bass with his fantastic needlefish. Just so many bass. My God, it's incredible. Like ridiculous numbers in the nighttime. So back to chatting a little bit about lures. Okay, so we're going to have some kind of affordable options, right? Particularly aimed at the younger anglers who are going to find it hard to be buying really expensive kit. So I bulk bought some paddle tails, and that's one of them, right? Let me show you. and that's on the Ulti Eel head, right? Now you can put it on a range of heads. Look at the size of the paddler on that bad boy, right? That's the Sayori Shad Evo 2, right? From Ultimate Biomax. Really soft, right? So, I mean, it's not going to catch you loads and loads of fish. It's going to get torn and stuff, but it's going to work extremely well, right? You've also got space for your rattle in the back here, right? So just pop your little hole in and a touch of super glue, right? So that's kind of very natural, you know, your typical natural green, silvery white belly, right? I also have this, which is, I can't, silver algae or something, but it's very sparkly, very glitchy, going to be great on a sunny day, right? Um, Now, in terms of size, just to give you an idea, that's an Evo Bass Lance, and that's your Sayori Shad, right? So a little bit smaller, right? But here's the lure I've taken a chance on. Now I know it works, but whether other people will have faith in it or not is another thing. It's the Sling Shad from Megabass, right? Um, just phenomenal. If you check out Ultimate Fishing's YouTube channel, you'll see the guys fishing this from the boat, right? And I have that on a 10-gram coyote. Over here, I have the Wakasaji on a 20-gram Texas Power, right? Now, again, just to give you an idea of size, because I know everybody knows what size the Lance is, right? It's just slightly bigger, right? Now, I don't know how many of you have ever gutted a bass that you had to keep that had river smelt in it. But if ever I saw a river smelt, that's it right there, okay? We all know how effective a bit of chartreuse can be, right? Especially in that sandy, churned up water, etc., right? So you're talking from that size, dropping down to guys like this size, right? The Mad Eel 90. We're going to have lots of one-up shads, the one-up shad 5-inch, the one-up shad 4-inch, right? I'd like people's opinion on this, right? So holding this up then against the Evo Bass, you can see they're, sorry now, it's very difficult to do this, but pretty much the same size. It's a bit smaller, right? My inclination is to do two things with this lure, right? First off is I want to innovate it and put a slit here, okay, so that your hook will just sit neatly into the body, right? It's designed to be mounted on a screw fix hook, a decoy Katsuyu or whatever it is. I'm not great at Japanese just yet, right? But my inclination is to do two things. One is to make a slightly bigger one, right? Is to get it up an inch and have a 6-inch version, right? Particularly for surf fishing and when you need a bit more weight behind it, right? And my other inclination is to almost half it, right? And to have something very small, right? So something about yay big, right? Which is, you know, literally done to ratio, if you know what I mean. So body to tail ratio will remain the same, just the size of the lure will change. Other than that, nothing will change because the lure itself is a proven fish killer, right? It's an absolute minter. So I just wanted to share some of my thoughts with you on that. What else am I going to be doing? Well, the other thing I'm going to do is, well, obviously the store is going to be linked to the YouTube channel. So there's constantly going to be information on new products as they come in. I'm always exploring the market looking for stuff that's innovative and new ways to fish, new ways to catch those bass that are just standing, right? We've already spoken at length about the sleeper range, particularly creature baits and sleeper craws. So going to have plenty of that stuff in stock. High grade fluorocarbon, absolutely essential. I mean, how many follows do you get, right? Why does the bass not hit the lure? Because it can see the fluorocarbon, right? You can see it. Plain as day, you can see it. I've seen it in action more times, right? Okay, now sometimes they're just not in the humour and they follow it because they're interested, but they don't want to feed or whatever. But other times they can actually see the thing, and if you lengthen your leader or drop the poundage of your leader, next thing you know, bang, you're into a fish, right? You know, I transfer skills. I learned a lot about lure fishing from pike fishermen, right? You know, I fished with Mr. Pike, Gabby. He's a great guy. If you're looking to go pike or trout fishing, give Gabby a shout. You'll find him on Instagram, Mr. Pike. He is absolutely fantastic guide and a fantastic angler. He's got a great boat called Refuse to Blank, which I think is just a fantastic name for a boat. I mean, he took me out trout fishing and put me over a 60 centimeter brownie. I mean, the most beautiful brown trout I've personally ever seen. I'm not a brown trout fisherman, so for me it was a huge thrill to catch that fish, right? And to release it, obviously, without doing it any harm. So really worth looking Gabby up, give him a follow or whatever. But the other thing I'm going to bring to the store is we're going to have a level of interaction, right? I will have a WhatsApp button where you can contact me and ask me questions about stuff. I will put packages together, right? So for example, you know, if I sell a pack of 4 of those, I might offer a bargain with a pack of Exorus heads or whatever. Do you know what I mean? If you buy both, then you get whatever. Some lures I'm going to be packaging myself, and then hopefully in the spring we have our lures in production. Here's the guy I was looking for. I showed him to you yesterday. I mean, like, look at the size of that, right? Got a bit of fluff on it. It's the 4-inch slim. I mean, that is just absolutely slay bass, right? Like, bass don't it's not very often a bass gets to grab something that size, right? And that's why they hit them so hard, right? I mean, I've been on the water, I'm not going to say where or whatever, watching the bass come, right? So you're watching the birds working, dipping. You'll see the swirls and what have you. And what they're taking is smelt, right? And you throw your popper or your slingshot or whatever in amongst them, and I mean they hammer it. They just no messing. I mean, it was with my great friend Brad, who I'm sure you know from Facebook and Instagram, great kayak angler, big strong South African dude. He's a great guy. We've done a lot of fishing together in the little rubber ducky, but just amazing to watch, right? When they're switched on, right? But the challenge is to catch the fish that are not switched on, right? Is to catch standing fish, right? Those are the tricky fish, right? And I think that's where having the higher end product really comes in. The one thing I know is I know lures and I know lure fishing. I know it inside out. I'm doing it all my life, right? I'm still using a lot of the stuff I used 20 years ago. Is just as good today. The one up shot, the X layer. Like on the site, there'll be a page of, Pat's top 5 plastics, right? Or whatever. Ring me for advice or WhatsApp me for advice on lead heads and all the rest of it. No problem, you know. But at the same time, I'm a busy guy. I've got a lot to do, so I can't spend my days doing that. I've got a business to run, hopefully. Right, fingers crossed. Right. Um, so other exciting news is we're off to the Bass AGM in February. Myself and Charles. And we've got a lot of stuff to bring with us. I'm going to be talking a bit about the business, about the guiding, promoting fishing in Southeast Ireland, right? I think we have some of the best bass fishing in Europe. There are incredible fish there. Look, last year was a bit of a washout, but that's fishing, right? Not every year is going to be good, right? And look, when they were there, they were really there. I mean, I was on a beach in the west of the county one night, and I had quite a few fish, and most of them were in the 65 centimeter bracket, right? Which is the class of fish for me that has been missing, right? I mean, it used to be that, like the Copper Coast, particularly, I think has taken a fair bit of pressure, right? That those big blackback bass, they've become a little bit scarce, right? But then you look in the rivers, you look at the Blackwater, you look at these, they're absolutely loaded with fish, right? So, I think the future is bright. I think the future is bright for fishing. I think lure fishing in general, the technology is moving on all the time. I am going to have a section for trout and sea trout. I don't know about you guys, but I'm hitting the sea trout as soon as I can. I mean, the minute the weather settles in January and when it gets cold and still, I know where I'll be on the flood and tide with my favourite 4 to 24 and my spearhead Ryukis and teaser flies and what have you. And I will just be casting, looking for that one big fish, right? Because to get like a 6 or 7 pound sea trout is just, it's an experience of a lifetime. They fight so hard. They're fantastic fish, but they really are silver ghosts. They're so tricky. Like they'll follow, to get them to hit something, right? I have some new hard lures coming in. I don't know why hard lure fishing kind of went out of fashion, right? It's like nobody buys or talks about fishing tide minnows or uh, um, tackle sweet shallows or whatever. Those are a staple part of my fishing box. The X140, which is now called the Coyote or whatever. I have 4 versions of that on the site, right? 4 different colors. Why? Because it's a phenomenal lure. Like it just catches fish. The action of it, if you just give it one pull, you can feel it like, it like, I mean, I'd say every bass within a half a mile knows that thing just hit the water, right? Yeah. So that's where we're at, guys. Like it's coming into Christmas. I might miss the Christmas sales or whatever, people buying stuff for Christmas. You are free to ring me. By the way, I will do business over the phone. You can do direct bank transfer and stuff now too. Or you can come and I'll meet you, come drop down to the house or whatever. And we can get things done that way. But hopefully, I'm hoping really to have the site within 2 weeks to have it ready. So that's it really for today, guys. I've a busy day ahead. I've oxygen treatment, and then I'm going home to see my dad, and I'm going to be in Waterford for a couple of days. I'm really looking forward to it because God love him. He's 89, and he's watched me just disintegrate from long COVID, and to walk in now looking fresh and with a bit of pep in my step, it's gonna be a good day. I'm looking forward to seeing him. He's been so good to me. So yeah, so that's it really, guys. Nothing more, nothing else to add. No point in bullshitting on when there's nothing else to say. Um, if you're out there fishing tight lines, I hope you bang a few. I know there's definitely still a few bass on the coast. I wish I could get out there myself, but I just can't risk it yet. It's not worth it. I need to wait. I need to wait till I'm finished the course treatment, and that's going to be a while. So I'm away today, but I'm back in Cork on Thursday. I have loads of rods there, by the way, loads of second-hand rods as well that I want to sell. So if you're in the market for tailwalks, I've tailwalk high tide SSD 9 foot. I have Dialuna from Daiwa Dialuna, which is very light rod. I have a Savage Gear SG5 that I let go for pennies. It's just a bass about rod. I have a Labrax AGS MH, right, which is 9 foot, 12 to 40 gram, and it's barely been used. It's mint condition. So if that is anybody's cup of tea, give me a shout. They're a beautiful rod. It's too heavy for me, for the type of fishing I'm doing. I have the exact same rod. I have the Labrax AGS 90L, and I fish it all the time. I mean, it's a fabulous rod. I just love it. It's just such a good feeling. By the way, here's a question for you. If I was going to build a rod, which would you prefer, cork or foam handles? Let me know in the comments. Other than that, guys, have a good day. Enjoy yourselves, and stay well. Okay, tight lines.